Oh, he's back.
Hello.
Phil!
Hello, Mr. Red Braces. How are you?
What's doing?
Well, thanks to Doug Ayton for last night's show. You know, I took the night off. I was off to the Palais to see the Beach Boys. I was going to phone in, but I thought, no, I'll save it till tonight. I have to tell you, the show began at 7:30. The Palais was packed, and the support act was Colleen Hewitt.
Oh.
Well, she was as good as the Beach Boys. She was wonderful. I have never seen her in concert before. And on stage, she had her six-piece backing band. Three of the faces I recognised. Coxie was playing the drums.
Really?
Jeff Cox was on drums.
Great.
Tony Buffuno was on lead guitar. And her son, Will, who works at Woolworths, he was on guitar as well.
Fabulous.
But she did 40 minutes on stage with all the songs from Godspell and Pippin and, The Wind Beneath My Wings. She brought the house down. But then we had an interval, and I was sitting next or very near Brian Cadd, and three lovely ladies who made my night, Faye and Jill and Maureen. They have a lot of fun. Kevin Trask and Edna were there. I thank Dennis Smith for organising tickets in the orchestra stalls, 6 rows from the stage. And it wasn't a cheap night, but boy, it was terrific.
What was the cost?
To me, well, Dennis hasn't sent me the bill yet, but I expect that to arrive any day. No.
Well, there will be nothing.
Of course I'll get a bill.
Well, you're not in the orchestras for nothing.
I take 6 people to a show and expect to get in for free. Come on.
Of course you do.
At the Beach Boys. I'd seen them 2 years ago at the Arts Centre with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra, and that was classy. But last night, they were on stage, just the band, a couple of the originals, including Bruce Johnson, who wrote a song for Barry Manilow called I Write the Songs, you'll remember that, and Mike Love, who's one of the original boys. And for 2 hours and 15 minutes, all they did were their non-stop hits, fun, 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 Little Deuce Coupe, Help Me Rhonda, one after the other, Kokomo, Don't Worry Baby. It was just the best night, and I'm so grateful I took the chance to see them, because they've been touring for 50 years.
That's all right.
They mightn't come back again, I mean, they're getting on a bit old in the tooth. But boy, were they in good form. And behind every song was a visual, like, film clip of surfing or custom-made Cadillacs. I'd love to hear from people who were there last night and see if they reacted similarly to me.
What are the groups? And the Beach Boys are, for me, one of them.
Yes.
I could sit there for 3 hours and just be absorbed with every hit, and they were. Yeah. Every song was a hit.
The songs you were playing 40 years ago on radio.
Them.
I know, they're wonderful.
Surfing USA.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, one after the other.
But who are the groups, who are the people that you could sit there, as you did and would have, and I would do the same.
Yes, you would.
And just absorb every song and love it.
Well, Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons, still touring.
Yeah, that's another. Yep, yes.
The Eagles, more recently.
Sinatra at his best.
Yes, and I believe Tom Burlinson did a fabulous show of Sinatra.
Yes,
I've
heard that. And I think Michael Bublé, you don't like him much.
No, I've come on him a bit. I think he's got tickets on himself. I think he thinks he's terrific.
Everybody has in the world got tickets on themselves.
Well, I suppose even for us to perform, you have to be confident, don't you?
What are you doing here, talking into a bit of fluff?
Yes, unless I was a ham, I couldn't do this.
No.
Don't call yourself a bit of fluff.
But
you're underestimating
you
yourself.
You could get to that panel, you could get to that door and think, no, I can't go on.
Yeah.
I've got irrits
in
my...
Yeah, well, we do suffer from nerves, but during the theme, I take 3 deep breaths, and then I bring in a Boston bun for good luck.
Yeah. So,
what's your technique to warm up for the show? What do you do?
Red underpants.
I wouldn't know.
So, how long were they on stage?
2 hours and 12 minutes, non-stop, one song after another.
Very good crowd?
Oh, huge. Palais seats 3,000 was packed. And the tickets weren't cheap, I'm telling you.
How much?
I think they were probably around 160 each.
Wow,
the best seats in the
you're
house.
in for about
$600. But I do anything for Kevin Trask and Edna.
Oh, rubbish.
And Kevin Dro.
And how was the old Palais looking? A bit of a splash of paint somewhere? Or
looks a bit run down. I look up at that dome, and I remember Pete Smith when we were younger. He used to do a comic exchange when he lived in St Kilda.
How long was he on stage?
Oh, he didn't appear. But listen to this. Worst thing I've ever done in my life. There was a piece of scaffolding across the dome.
Again, I'll scream.
And he made me walk that scaffold.
Okay.
in the dome above the theatre.
So we will talk about the groups that you've seen and loved and couldn't get enough of.
Yes, yes. Oh, now, this will surprise you. I'd like to see Dire Straits, Duran Duran, Queen.
No.
There are several groups.
For 3 hours? No.
When I was at the opening of the Olympics,
3 hours.
when I went to the London Olympics, Paul McCartney performed that night.
For how long? Couple of songs?
Oh, just did one song.
Yeah,
I
not
think.
3 hours.
No,
Good.
just part. Yeah. So, who would you pay big money to go and see? Who are your idols? And you know, Engelbert was here 2 weeks ago, and Burt Bacharach.
You're not on the same street as the Beach
But you
Boys.
can't go and see them all. You can't afford them all. I tell you who I'd like to go and see in 2 weeks. Would you like to come as my guest? My shout. You're into country and western. Sheena Easton.
No.
You know, working 9 to 5.
Morning Train?
Yeah, that's right. Mine. Yeah, you know.
Tell you
all
would be
her
good.
songs.
The old Dolly Parton.
Oh, is it? Yeah, because she's got a sense
Or
of humour.
in her day, Patsy Cline. I could sit there for 3 hours.
I know you loved her, didn't
Oh, I
you?
loved her.
Yes. So there we are. Who are the groups or the artists that appeal to you that you'd pay big money
Okay,
for?
let's have a look at the top 10 in ratings from last night. Nine's News scooped the pool. And these aren't in order, but they're the top 10.
I understand.
9 News, 7 News, The Block, Current Affair, ABC News, Home and Away, 7:30 Report, and Aussie Barbecue Heroes. This is the new one for Channel 7.
Oh, okay.
Premiered last night.
Hosted by Ben O'Donoghue, whoever.
And that's in the top 10. Not a huge number, but did all right.
What about the final episode of the XPM?
The XPM, yes, was number 16.
Okay, a bit disappointing.
Yeah, a little bit. 189,000.
Yeah, that's
it's just off the edge a bit, this show. I love Sean McAuliffe. I love him.
Yes.
All he's done over the years, but this one just misses the mark a bit, Phil.
Perhaps it's badly written, Bruce. Is that
I
the problem?
don't know. Well, that's got a bit to do with it, of course.
Yeah.
All right, so they're the ratings from
Okay,
last
well,
night.
thank you for that. Now, what have you been up to? Anything in the last 48 hours that I need to be brought up
I
to
do want to
speed
thank
about?
Doug Ayton for doing a massive job last night. It was really great and worked in very, very well. Lots of good topics and good calls.
Yes, he's a real pro. I have a couple of topics. One is, in view of what's been happening in Paris in the last 5 days, and it's the most visited city in the world.
You shop regularly and locally, there's a little nook that you find. You very seldom put money into a meter
Yes,
where you shop.
that's right. We don't have meters in Kew, thankfully.
Well, okay, but they do in a lot of other shopping
They
centres.
do. Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying in Yarraville that there are this open planning where you can park anywhere you want to, because obviously that is the big contention with the Mitchell program this morning.
No, but why couldn't it be free parking with a 2-hour limit? And
Well, something like
no,
that,
you
yeah.
have to,
Yeah.
because a lot of people like going to the Sun Theatre there to movies.
Well, of course, and they were saying, well, why is Yarraville? Why? And they said, well, it's the village atmosphere. It's so conducive to getting a little spot in there. You can park for a couple of hours, have a coffee, do your shopping, and not be hounded.
Yeah, I feel very sorry for the locals and the traders, and the fact that the mayor wouldn't come on Neil's show, and
Yeah, a bit petulant, I thought.
and the deputy mayor I think was making excuses, didn't have an opinion.
Yeah,
it was very.
I mean, if you're up front, we're waving a flag for 3.5 hours. You come out, and you whether you're going to be loved or not, you at least have an argument.
Yeah, I thought the councillors were very wishy-washy. You know.
Yeah, I agree. 17 past 10, 3AW. Board.
Yeah.
Pat in Melbourne.
Hello, welcome, Pat.
Hello, boys. Bruce, I saw the Beach Boys a few years ago. Can't remember what venue. I've been to so many. But I remember thinking to myself, why did people pay for seats?
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Why do people pay to go?
No, why did they pay for seats? Because everyone stood up and danced.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great.
No, it was. And at the interval, I went outside, and I was surprised that so many young people had dressed up, girls with grass skirts over their jeans.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and guys with Hawaiian shirts on.
Yes.
Yeah, and look, I'm in my 70s, so they wouldn't even be born.
That's true. And we stood up for half the concert last night for the Rocky numbers. Yes.
Where are you from, Pat?
From originally?
Yeah, originally, yes.
Scotland.
Isn't that amazing that the Beach Boys could encompass all, like an entire globe of tastes?
Yes.
Including America, Australia, Scotland.
First song I heard was I Get Around.
Get Around, yes.
Yes.
Remember
I
that?
loved it.
Yep, good one.
Oh, yes.
And what did you like most? Was it the ballads or...
I love the catchy little Surfing USA, and I loved all those.
Yeah, and I loved In My Room.
Yeah, nice one.
And do you know one called Heroes and Villains?
Yes.
That's terrific.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good Vibrations, a later song.
And God Only Knows. That's beautiful. Yeah, they're all classic songs.
Pat, and I thank you for your call and how much you loved them when you were a little bit young.
Yeah, I don't know if you know the ballad God Only Knows How I Feel About You.
Yes, I do.
Paul McCartney said he wished he had written that song. It's his very favourite.
Oh, bet. Cameron, good evening.
Oh, good evening, boss, and good evening, Philip.
Oh, hi, Cameron.
And I bet you the audience response to Kokomo was positive.
Yes, they did that as an encore at the very end because they said it was #1 in Australia for 8 weeks. It was from the movie Cocktail.
Oh, yes, that's one of my favourites. And, of course, God Only Knows not only used in many, many TV themes, but also in a lot of movies.
Yeah, I think I'd like it at my funeral, Cameron, maybe.
Yeah, well, that's why it's popular in the TV shows and movies, Phil, because it's such an iconic song from the 60s. You know, it's a bit like what's his name, the bloke who sang American Pie. That was another.
Don McLean, yes.
Don McLean. There was another iconic American song, wasn't it?
You are right.
And those sort of songs are always going to be in the annals of American history, I think, because they define America for those time periods, I think.
I don't know about you guys. I've always found American Pie very boring. How do you feel about it, Bruce?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I think the story is interesting, and I think the cavalcade of songs and people that he was representing in that, from Buddy Holly to Jimi Hendrix.
I think it's more the symbology of the time.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
Important, not so much the song itself. And I had lovely caramelised pork belly, and it was just so nice and soft inside and nice and crispy on the outside, just perfect. 4 pieces of it at a Thai restaurant, and it was beautiful with apple and pear sauce.
Oh, delicious.
Can you imagine? I've still got that beautiful taste in my mouth, and I'm saying, all the aromas of those different, and a bit of coriander as well.
That sounds great. You've had a great night. Good on you, Cameron. Thank you. Steve at Greenvale.
G'day, guys.
Yeah.
Elvis, if he was alive.
Yes, I agree with that.
The closest I got, guys, was, remember Elvis to the Max came to town?
Yep.
Max Pelicano?
Oh, yes.
We saw him at Festival Hall. I think it was one of the last few times that place was played out to a packed house, guys. It was amazing. He was brilliant.
Yes.
He looked it, he sounded it. It was probably the closest impersonator I've come to. It was just right on the money.
Yes, I've heard he's the best.
He was, in my opinion. Brilliant concert. The Beatles, I wish I was born earlier, guys. I really was, because when I hit my teens, everyone was buying, Blondie, I don't know, U2, whatever, and I was buying Beatles albums. And I just heard it on the radio. You know, you only have to hear it once or twice, and it just grows on you.
Yeah.
And I bought their entire collection, and everyone thought I was mad. And, people thought I was, just born too late. I'd love to see them. Obviously, I can't. But if there's a good impersonator going around, I suppose I'd pay money to see it. But, good stuff. But listen, just on the parking, I worked at a public hospital, the Austin, for a few years. And even then, guys, it was getting a bit much. We had to pay even though we had to work there. And people were getting booked left, right and centre. And, look, I'm not surprised parking's a problem in this country because, even the Deutsche Bank, the German bank, has actually valued Sydney and Melbourne as 2 of the most expensive cities in the world. We've come in at 5th and 8th in the world. Most livable, sure, but the most expensive. We even beat New York.
You know, I think it might work out cheaper to take taxis to the airport and to a hospital.
Well, you know, look, I'm hearing people are actually parking, just before you get to the airport on the side of the road.
Yeah, they are.
You know, I know that's probably dangerous, but I just think, guys, look, has it been your opinion, guys? I mean, you've obviously lived longer than me. We're so far away from civilization that people rip us off because they can, because there's nowhere else for us to go. Even if we try to buy something overseas, now they're cracking down on people who purchase things overseas over $1,000. They're going to introduce tax. Fine. But everywhere we go, everything we buy, everything we do, like parking, CDs, music, runners, whatever, we always seem to pay, 4 or 5 times more than the European standard. It's like whoever's making money, they're making a mint, and we've got no choice. We just have to pay for everything here. It's just incredible how we get ripped off, and there's nothing we can do. We got the ACCC always looking into things, but not really doing anything. We pay the most expensive petrol, guys. I mean, it just goes on and on. So, look, it is a great place to live, but it's getting bloody expensive.
Yeah, I mean, even a coffee at $3.50. You could make that coffee at home for a few cents.
Yeah. All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Good, Stephen, I'm sorry. Thank you, Steve. Chris, good evening.
Hello, guys. You know what has always mystified me since about 1991, since I started making regular contact with 3AW, is it's never broken into the next generation of music from 1980 onwards. I find I've made many attempted calls to Billy Pinnell's Blast from the Past, only to find that you don't have the songs, and the songs were all-time hits, like from In Excess. I mean, you just seen the teleseries, which was actors, and they got more than 2 million people in the ratings watching that 2-day teleseries, and yet you don't have In Excess songs at 3AW. So I thought, something's wrong here. I'm 50 years old. I suppose I'm a young fella, and 3AW don't cater for the young, they only cater for the very old. But, I'd like to think that you're breaking the last 35 years of music far outweighs anything before it, because all the old stuff, it's irrelevant to me.
Well, I think it is. I think it's a matter of the age of the people ringing in to Billy Pinnell, and it's always 50 and over. Yeah. So it's got to be standards and pretty well evergreens.
Of course,
doesn't it, really?
Those songs live forever.
All right, Chris, thanks. Ruth in South Melbourne.
Oh, hi, boys. I just wanted to say, it's very sad. I don't want to go on about it, but very sad with what's happening in Paris and how that will affect people from going, because a lady that I do for, so to speak, she'd only been there 2 weeks before it all happened and had gone to places where the attacks happened. But, the sad thing that I have to report, I mean, I put you both on tonight for comfort, for big reason, is because we had violence breaking out where I live. It's community housing, and we're basically all older people and very quiet and very peaceful. But unfortunately, the management have taken to putting in very troublesome people. And consequently, we've had fights and door slamming and screaming and all kinds of stuff. And it got to the point tonight that I walked down to the police station to report it and to ask them what I should do if it breaks out again tonight. Yeah. And I've been here nearly 4 years, and this is the worst it's gotten. But it's gotten steadily worse over the last 3 months. But I don't like to focus on negative. So on the positive, I've very much treasured hearing your 2 beautiful voices tonight, to get some calm and to just feel, yes, there's still decent things in Melbourne, because unfortunately, and I don't want to be negative, but I'm afraid it's all going to the pack. And we've got some dreadful, troublesome people, and I don't know what the answer is for them. I just don't know. So, I'd like to think you could go out to Melbourne and go to the Palais and all that and not have a problem. But I'm reluctant to even get out of my door these days because of these sort of people.
Well, you're right, and there's so many people disturbed in the mind, as you discover when you're driving.
Yeah.
But you look after yourself and just take care.
I am, and I'll listen to you both.
And try and foster a bit of friendship around you. I know that's probably
hard, my immediate neighbours, lovely people.
See, they're great.
So you've got to emphasise the good people, but it's just been this trend of housing these people who are considered
compromised.
Yes,
And yet, you know, they've been door bangers and fighters and all that everywhere they've gone in life.
yes.
So it's just such a shame, but I'm going to sit back, de-stress, listen to you both, and feel much better. So
That's the
thank you
girl.
both.
That's the girl.
Thank you both.
Always feel free to give us a call or just get to know those neighbours well and family.
Yeah, our voices will be very reassuring to Ruth tonight.
Hopefully.
She said so.
Hope.
Well, mine will be. I don't know about yours.
Oh, yes, yes. Like having Brian Wilson in here. Thank you, Ruth. It's 10:30. Sue, good evening on the mobile.
Oh, good evening, Bruce and Phil. Phil, you must go and see Dire Straits. I was living down in Tasmania many moons ago, and Dire Straits came down and did a concert at the North Hobart Oval, so it was an open-air concert. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough money for tickets at the time, so I took my picnic blanket, some cushions, a thermos flask and some snacks, and actually camped outside the perimeter fence. Believe it or not, could actually see the stage and could hear it beautifully. There is nothing to compare with the music of Dire Straits live. I still get goosebumps thinking and remembering them playing Going Home.
Yeah.
It was just amazing.
Beautiful.
And did they do Sultans of Swing?
Oh, yes, absolutely. It was brilliant. Everybody was just bopping along to that. It was fantastic. Even though I wasn't actually inside for the concert, it's a memory that I will absolutely treasure for the rest of my life.
Oh, fabulous.
Oh,
Sue.
wonderful.
So, no, it's opportunity. You don't hesitate. Just go. They are absolutely incredible.
Well, if they come back, I'm going to shout Bruce. He'll have to come whether he wants to
Good
or
on you,
not.
Sue.
You'll love it, Bruce.
That's a great sum up, particularly where you were with all of your nuts and your lollies and all that sitting on the rug on the periphery.
Yeah, a lot of people.
And on your periphery.
A lot of people go to carols by candlelight.
Sue,
to
thank
do
you
that.
very much. Roy Orbison for me could be hours on stage. I couldn't care how long he was there.
Yes.
And Neil Diamond.
Yeah,
Now that's a bit dated, I suppose, isn't it?
Not at all. No, I don't think that's aging you at all.
Well, I think it is, but every song's a winner.
No, they're timeless, aren't they?
Don, thank you for calling.
How are you, Bruce?
Yeah, good, Don.
How are you, Phil?
Yeah, fine, Don, thank you.
Good, good. Do you know, firstly, I agree with that lady. Dire Straits, top grip, top. But anyway, what I wanted to just mention, I think, the owners of the horse trip to Paris must be feeling a little bit low at the moment because, the horse trip to Paris in the Melbourne Cup, one of the favourites.
Mm-hmm. Yes?
Yes, it's disappointing how all these scenarios seem to happen. And I would think, well, look, fellas, they can't forecast this type of circumstance. But they'd be feeling it. They'd be feeling the punch. I mean, we would all like to go to Paris, but not in a hurry anymore. I wouldn't think so. But however, how is your little dog, Phil?
Oh, Oro's doing well. I've had him 7 months now, Don, and he's no longer a pup. He's got the bark of a 5-year-old.
Oh, that's fantastic, Phil. If little Oro needs a place to stay when you're going on your journeys and so forth, well, Oro's always welcome here.
Oh, that's so kind of you, Don.
You know that, Phil.
Yeah, well, normally he goes back to the breeders in Gruyere if I'm out of town,
Yeah,
But,
well,
thank you for the invitation.
that's okay. I have a little toy poodle, Phil.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yes.
And he's my precious little jewel.
Oh, they get along like a house on fire, Don.
All right, Don, lovely offer. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Can I just mention, ever so briefly, there's going to be a wonderful fete this Saturday. Mike Brady will be performing, and it's going to be at Nazareth House in Camberwell. It's the only details I have, but if you're free on Saturday, it's going to be 17 and cloudy. Wear something warm and make your way to Nazareth House for their annual fete.
20 to 11, and we'll take a break. Melbourne is renowned for its livability. But the reasons why residents love it have not always been clear. A new survey reveals the city's lovability is the main attraction for Melbourne and Melburnians across most suburban areas. Let me ask you questions and answers about Melbourne, and it could relate to any city in the world.
All right.
What do you love most about where you live?
I love the freedom of living in Australia.
Well, for Melbourne, close to transport, parks, shops, community. Could be anywhere. The Melbourne I share with my friends is...
the Botanic Gardens.
Good food, restaurants, coffee. My hidden Melbourne gem is...
the Queen Victoria Market.
Gardens, Yarra, Laneways. In Melbourne, I love to look at...
in Melbourne, I love to look at the pretty girls.
Buildings, what? Anywhere in Australia,
Yeah, but
in the world.
Australian girls are gorgeous.
Buildings, architecture, people, gardens could apply to anywhere.
Yeah. I'm just telling you the first thing that comes into my mind. Yeah, but everybody would have a different answer.
Oh, it's a lovely day. I'll go out and have a look at a pretty girl.
Yeah, well, why not when you're single or on The Bachelor?
And how have your killings been?
I haven't been too successful yet.
Haven't you? What happened?
Oh, they think it's Santa Claus perving on
What's
them.
that woman next door? That's you can't get past her.
Hilda?
Margaret of West Idle. Good evening, Marg.
Hello, Bruce and Phil.
Yes, Margaret.
Tom Roberts' paintings are in the news at the moment. And Tom Roberts painted my grandfather Ridgway and his brothers as shearers.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And the man with the hat on his head, that looks to me like Hans Hasten when I knew him,
Yes.
when I was a little girl.
Could it well have been. He was in that class, wasn't he, of that era?
Pardon?
Yeah. Have you still got that painting, Margaret?
No, it's in the Victorian Art Gallery.
What a
The National Gallery of Australia is going to hold an exhibition of Tom Roberts paintings.
And is it your grandfather?
My grandfather Ridgway and his brothers, they're shearers in it.
I think that's fabulous.
They were shearers. But an artist at the Victorian Art Gallery cleaned it and touched it up and put a pink shirt on one of the shearers.
Oh, that's a shame.
And nobody had a pink shirt.
No one wore pink shirts anywhere shearing.
Yes. And they only had blue shirts or a very pale brown shirt.
That's right. Oh, that's a wonderful treasure. And if that's on display, that's a marvellous piece of Australiana.
From the Heidelberg School.
A Tom Roberts classic there with Grandpa.
Of course.
Thanks, Mark. Greg at Brighton, good evening.
Hi, Phil. Hi, Bruce. How are you?
Hi, Greg.
Yes, how are you, mate?
Good. Thanks for calling.
Look, I just wanted to call to thank you both for the help with the Merry Melodies through the year.
Oh, yes.
You know, it's been fantastic, you know. And, of course, so many people, you know, hear you guys talking about it, and people say, oh, I heard on the radio, and they come down and they love it, you know.
Oh, yeah, 12 promoted by you.
$5, and they get a show, and they get there's an interval with food and cups of tea.
But is there another one before Christmas?
No, there's not. We had our last one last Tuesday, and it was fantastic. It was really good. We had all the girls that we'd had through the year, the special ladies, like the professionals, like Patty Lewis was there, who was Mr. Farrington's partner.
Yeah.
Remember Dennis Farrington?
Oh, of course. Yeah, we remember him fondly, yeah.
And Lainey Lamont was there, and Loretta Hobson was there.
Oh.
You know, she's got a fantastic voice, too.
Dorothy Baker's one of your team as well?
And Dorothy Baker was there, yeah, they were all there. And I play drums, and we've got a guy on piano, so we've got a semi-orchestra, you know. And,
we'll promote it again next year for you, count on that.
Yeah, that'd be great, mate. And the show was directed, of course, by the fabulous Pat Argue.
Oh, yeah, we know the Argues.
Right, Greg, thank you for that. It's 9 to 11. Dave at 1:30. G'day, Dave.
G'day, chaps. I want to talk about something else, but I just have to say, as someone who's met Donald Campbell, I can only say, as speaking as a follower of wrestling, he could not only look after himself well there, but has a heart of gold.
Oh, that's lovely.
I can assure you he has. What a man.
Yes.
And may I say, after 10 days in hospital, how thrilled I am at the organisational skills teamwork of all the staff and cleverness of doctors at Monash Medical Centre, Clayton, where they're helping me get rid of a large lymphoma in my stomach. You'll recall, chaps, that over the last 20 years, as a reaction to my warnings on 3AW, the skullduggery of Republicans, of organised crime and Mussolini supporters in Victoria, as a family we have suffered a great deal. Listeners will be shocked to know that knowing I was in hospital, someone connected to Mussolini hero worship entered Leongatha Primary School, supposedly to help our daughter professionally, which school has hitherto been so fantastic in supporting our daughter, and tried to get our daughter to criticise the way my wife looks after her by asking her if she's been looked after properly. Listeners may also recall that while on my way to England this May, someone else from the same school of the same milk, having discovered I was going overseas, had the audacity to ring me at Tullamarine Airport to ask if I thought my wife was capable of looking after our children in my absence. This amounts to outright disability discrimination towards my wife, who, along with my daughter, admittedly has dyslexia, but so did Einstein.
Yeah. I think it's getting a bit complicated, and we haven't got a lot of time, Dave.
No.
Sympathies with you and the story itself.
Yeah, and you didn't name the school, so we can't pursue that. Bruce, I don't know what you're doing tomorrow, but can I extend an invitation to you? Giovanni at the Olive Jar in Rathdown Street. He's got a wonderful 4-cheese pizza for $10. He'd love you to come along and enjoy some homemade wine and pizza.
Oh, freebies getting around tonight, aren't
No,
there?
freebies.
Beach Boys, freebies.
Excuse me,
pizzas.
I took 35 people to lunch there last week. You know
what do you
what
want, a discount?
You know what I paid?
Strike.
No, I pay my way, buddy. Always.
Hello again. This is John Doremus with the Passing Parade of the story of a man whose life was a golden example of modest and gratuitous service to science and his fellow man. It was Australia's good fortune that a young and wealthy scientist accompanied Captain Cook on the famous voyage of the Endeavour and realized the infinite possibilities of the country Cook discovered. His name was Joseph Banks, and I'll be back with his story after this message.
John Michael Hollywood Howson here. I can't tell you the buzz around town since Hollywood came to Tabaret. Everyone's flocking to their favourite Tabaret venues to play the new Hollywood game. And it's no wonder Hollywood is the most exciting thing since the Oscars. And the star-studded awards ceremony is bigger than a Hollywood blockbuster on opening night. So hurry down to your local Tabaret and join in the excitement of Hollywood. And you can see your winnings up in lights.
The only son of William Banks, a wealthy member of Parliament, Joseph Banks was born in London on February 13, 1743. He was educated at Harrow and Eton, and in his early teens his interest in botany began to awaken. At 18 he entered Christ Church College, Oxford. While there, on the death of his father, he inherited a substantial fortune in the family seat at Revesby, Lincolnshire. With such zeal did he devote himself to his botanical studies that he was admitted as a Fellow of the Royal Society when only 23. In 1776, Banks made his first excursion outside England when he embarked on a botanical investigation of Newfoundland and Labrador. This experience whetted his appetite, and when the Royal Society sponsored the expedition under Captain Cook in 1768 to observe the transit of Venus in the Pacific, Banks proposed that he should equip the voyage for natural history pursuits. Permission was granted, and he spent a considerable amount of his own money on the project. The highlight of the memorable 3-year voyage was the discovery and charting of the east coast of Australia. Banks collected a wealth of information concerning the natural history of Australia and other countries he visited. He was anxious to accompany Cook on a second voyage, but the arrangements fell through, and instead he went to Iceland, returning by way of the Hebrides. This expedition marked the end of his wanderings, and at the age of 30, he settled down and devoted himself to building up his herbarium and library. It is a tribute to the far-sightedness of Joseph Banks that he perceived in work for the bright future of New South Wales. Largely due to his enthusiastic recommendation, the British government decided to send out a settlement party of Marines and convicts on the charge of Captain Arthur Phillip. The unfurling of the British flag in Sydney Cove on January 26, 1788, was little more than the beginning of Banks' work for the new colony, and for more than 20 years he played an active and important part in shaping its history. In 1795, he received the Order of the Bath, and 2 years later was admitted to the Privy Council. His interest in Australia lessened after Macquarie became governor in 1810, although he still kept in touch with his many personal friends there. His interest branched out in other directions, and he promoted explorations for natural history purposes in China, Brazil, Sumatra, and Egypt. Gout troubled him greatly as he grew older, and over the last 14 years of his life, he had very little use of his legs. Sir Joseph Banks, who has been affectionately called the Father of Australia, died in 1820 at the age of 77. A truly amazing man. Our time is up till we meet again for another chapter in the Passing Parade. This is John Doremus. As always, thank you so much, and goodbye for now.
Indeed, 3AW Wangaratta, thank you for joining us on our abridged version of Nightline tonight, along with 2QN in Deniliquin.
Yeah, not forgetting our friends watching us or hearing us around the world on the internet.
Phyllis at South Yarra. Hello, Phyllis.
Good evening, Bruce and Phil.
Yes.
The dance at Williamstown is on this Saturday night.
Yeah.
At the corner of Melbourne Road and Ferguson Street. That's a good dance. It's in the Senior Citizens Hall. And Brunswick Town Hall on the corner of Dawson Street and Sydney Road. That is another good dance as well. It's ordinary ballroom dancing. It's a great night. And my Cheerios to Carl and John from Lilydale, Charlie and Nancy at Faulkner, Joan from Faulkner, Pat from Northcote, Sue from Mill Park, Peter from Wangaratta, Pat and his wife and his staff at Wangaratta, Ray from Chadston, and Brian from Fairfield.
Right.
I appreciate you receiving my call each week.
Oh, you're
love.
Okay, love. You're more than welcome, Phyllis.
Okay, thanks very much, love.
Okay, love.
We should go to one of her dances. It'd be great fun.
Who, you and me?
Yes.
What, dancing?
No, we're not going to dance together, but...
Oh, who are you going to...
Well, I'll enjoy the music. I'll just stay on the sidelines.
What are you expecting? What's the music?
Well, I think it's going to be old-time 50-50
Off you go to the Brunswick
dancing.
Town Hall.
Yeah, I think I'd love it.
Deb at Carrum Downs. Good day, Deb.
Hi, Deb.
Sorry, just laughing from that. It's lovely to talk to you guys again.
Thank you.
Both being at the same time. What I'm ringing about is this has just come in the last week, and it hasn't been broadcasted or advertised, or I don't think really anybody knows about it. But my son and his fiance sold their house, and this week was the settlement. Now, they didn't know about this until the last moment because it's only just come in this week. Now, I think it's got to do, well, what the conveyancer said was it's got to do with the Chinese people buying up property in Australia and selling property in Australia. Now, what they had to do was, and I think this is absolutely horrid.
To Kangaroo Island next week.
They don't fly there.
Sorry, buddy. It's the way I'm getting there.
They don't fly there.
No, they do. I'm going on a 3-day package. Like to come with me, Bruce?
Nah. 18 past 11, Craig at South Bank.
Hey, guys. How you going?
Yeah, good.
Thanks, Craig.
I'm just up on the 20th floor here in Cavanagh Street, and I've just spotted the most violent-looking lightning I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, Jesus me.
The back of Mount Dandenong, I first saw it about 10 minutes ago. It was at the Ferntree Gully end of Mount Dandenong. I couldn't believe what I saw. It was about 1,000 feet high and had about 15 lines of forked lightning in 1/10 of a second.
Oh.
It's moved very quickly, and it's halfway through the back of Mount Dandenong, and that was even more. It would have been at least 15 or 20 lines of lightning. It's not even 1/10 of a second. It's just so quickly.
Yeah. Well, Bianca's putting up the weather map for us right now as we speak.
So it was forked lightning coming from the Dandenong Ranges.
Yeah, well, it's at the back of Mount Dandenong. I can't hear any thunder, but oh hell, I tell you what, that does not look happy.
Thanks for the warning. Could be heading our way, mate.
We're having a look at the weather map. There's nothing. There's nothing much on there. Well, oh,
Craig.
Gee.
Craig.
Deafening. Nothing on there, is there?
No, not a cloud in sight around Melbourne or beyond. No.
But a bit of activity over Dandenong.
And around Yan Yan.
Yeah.
And Warburton, perhaps.
All right, Craig, we'll keep an eye out for that. Thank you for that.
Yes, okay.
And any warnings, you can let us know. Anyone from the Bureau?
Yes.
All right, Queenie at Bayswater, good evening.
Good evening, you boys.
Yes.
There's no thunder out here, but looks like we may be getting something. I'm just at the foot of the Dandenong.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, so, and we do get a lot of thunder and lightning, but there's no thunder at the moment anyway. But I was just going to say, I agree with that lady. I don't think they should have to pay that $40.
No.
I think that's ridiculous. I mean, they're just starting to come to mind now with the, well, there's a Chinese billionaire or something bought a house in somewhere in the best part of New South Wales, and he's got to resell that and put the money back. They're not going to let him have it. He's bought it, but it's probably standing there with nobody in it.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful home. Well, they're making him well, he's got to do it within a month to sell it.
Right.
And I think that's right. But what I was ringing about, I don't like to dwell on the Paris thing. I think people have just got to go around their lives just the way they've always done it. It's no good worrying about those things because we have been at war. Some bigwig would say we're at war. We've been at war since 7/11, and we can't see them. That's the point. You can't see what war we're having. I just think it's just like Hitler starting up and only when they got the black and white flag. But they're not only killing humans. Philip, I don't know whether you read the paper today about that dog that went in and that girl blew herself up and the dog belonged to the police and they sent the dog in probably to do something to get, well, sort her out, and she let fly with the suicide bomb.
I know, I'm aware of it, yes.
Yes, it was Diesel, and he was 7 years old.
I know.
And they had him on Peter Hitchens last, and they said, about, you never think of the animals that are held like that, and they go up with the,
yes,
with the
it's
suicide
absolutely
bomber,
tragic.
and I think that's...
Yeah, they are the innocents, Queenie.
Yes, it's also children, aren't there? Families, total innocence, as you say.
Absolutely, yeah, no discrimination at all.
Not at all.
Yeah, it's tragic, Queenie. Totally agree. Good night, Queenie.
Thanks, Queenie. Peter at Bundura, good evening.
Hello, gentlemen. You've actually both helped me in the past. I like to do a little bit of research on Australian entertainment history, and I'm really stuck, so who better to ask? Years ago, there was a performer very similar to Sophie Tucker. She came out to Australia quite a few times. Remember, she was on IMT a few times. Graham Kennedy used to have a running gag with her, used to say, a bit politically incorrect but very funny, that he loved every acre of it. Now, I think there were gags that she once sat on a piano and broke it.
That's right.
Any idea who it was?
Oh, look, I was at 3XY and I interviewed her several mornings.
Wow.
Was she the black lady Hadda Brooks?
No, she was a white lady, and she was large and funny and sat on the piano and broke it.
I can find out for you tomorrow from Mike McCall-Jones,
what
Peter.
What was her name?
Yeah, I cannot think of it. I'd love to do a bit of
research. She used to come on with a helmet with horns coming out of it.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes. Oh. It wasn't Anna Russell, I know that.
Yes, it was.
Oh.
It was Anna Russell.
Do you think so, Bruce?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, maybe it was.
Are you sure there wasn't another... an entertainer called Helen somebody, or...
there was another one, Helen...
I'll tell you.
Helen Morse,
No, you're close. Helen Boyce.
Helen Boyce?
Yes, that's it. I've been trying to get this for the last few weeks.
So there were the two ladies, and they were both identical. Well, that was the gag.
Yeah, that's who you want.
Helen Boyce was the one I was actually thinking, oh, yeah, I loved Anna Russell, but Helen Boyce. At least that gives me a little bit. Yeah, I don't remember a lot about her, but I used to love the patter that the King had with her.
Yes, he had a field day with her.
Oh, it was hilarious, and she loved laughing at herself.
Of course she did.
Oh, look, no doubt about you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that.
Well, we did it between us, the three of us.
It was Helen Boyce.
Yeah, B-O-I-C-E.
Thank you, Peter. Got away. That's terrific to have been able to impart. Any other show business stories we'd love to help you out with, or at least make some contact.
Absolutely, yes. Good call.
Michelle at Kilsyth, good evening.
Oh, good evening. I can't see the lightning yet, but dogs are starting to bark, so I think it's on its...
It's on the way.
Michelle, has your radio started to crackle yet?
No, I don't think so, because no, it hasn't.
All right.
And it's the thunder usually starts the dogs off, so, the lightning doesn't seem to, it's that clap of thunder. And my dog is lying on the bed next to me here, and he's a big sook with storms.
Oh, yes.
He's a rescue dog, so, and I used to make him sleep outside. And he's a poodle, and they're not outside dogs, and he's a big sook.
Oh, we'll keep an eye on the weather for you.
All right, Michelle, thanks for ringing in. We've got a pancake parlour party for you to go to. Take your girlfriends to the pancake parlour for afternoon tea or morning tea. They're open 24 hours at High Point, Doncaster and Malvern East. So we've got the voucher for you, and we'd love you to go along.
Thank you very much.
All right. Just hang up now. Hold the line.
And good evening, Carly at Ivanhoe. Yes, Carly, hello. I can hear her on the other end of the phone. Speak to us, Carly. Last chance.
You're the only one. 26.
Pleasant, Bruce.
Very pleasant.
But we need rain, don't we?
Yes. Carly is back with us. Hello, Carly.
Hi, sorry, I had a blood nose.
A blood nose?
Yes, I put you down and I ran to the bathroom. I'm so sorry.
You're all right. That's fine. That's okay.
Okay. I was going to say, Doncaster Shopping Town?
Yeah.
Right, you go in and you get your ticket, and then if you stay longer than 3 hours, you have to pay, I think it's about $2 or $3.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's gone ticketless.
Right.
So as you go up, they've put the little bumps down on as you drive up, so you have to go very slow. They take your license number, the license on the plate recognition.
Your registration, yeah.
Yeah, your registration. That's fine, but what people don't know is that when you go in, I'll just give you an example. If you go in, say, 9 o'clock in the morning, okay?
Yeah.
You're there for an hour and a half.
Right.
Okay, you drive out. You cannot enter again until at least 2 hours later.
Oh.
If you enter within that 2 hours, it takes up the same time. It'll register.
Oh.
If you enter within that 2 hours, it takes up the same time. It'll register the hour and a half you were in, and then the hour and a half that you're there, it's already 3 hours.
Oh.
I think it's terrible.
How do you know that from experience?
So
I asked them. Because people were saying, "Oh, you can't go back in. You can't go in on the same day." And I said, "What? That's ridiculous." So I went to the information booth downstairs, and the lady said, "No." She said, "If you go out, you can't come back within 2 hours. You have to wait after the 2 hours and then come back in. It starts again." But the thing is, sometimes I go there, I buy things, I take it home, and I think, "Oh, I have to go back."
Yeah.
But now I have to wait 2 hours.
Yeah, your allocated time is up, and I suppose that's only fair, isn't it?
Oh, but the thing is, it's, you people, they come and go all the time.
I suppose you're right, yeah.
It's really hard.
But it's very hard to appropriate that amount of time, isn't it?
Is there a sign up telling you this, Carly?
It's very, very in small print. So you wouldn't know. You'd never know. But you'll find out. People are going to find out. But anyway.
Oh, that's very unfair. They're going to have to do something about that.
Well, that's the way it is. I asked them because I couldn't believe that.
Well, it's not unfair. You're going to have half of Melbourne coming and going into Doncaster shopping.
Yeah, but I'm like Carly. I might have forgotten something and want to go back half an hour later.
Make a list. Carly,
Yes, I don't want you to argue.
We've got a patched for you. Patched reduces mobile phone radiation. Tell us about it, Phil.
Oh, this is going to be wonderful. Dr. John Tickell recommends this.
Oh, good.
It's for your mobile phone. It reduces mobile phone radiation by up to 95%.
Oh.
Available throughout November at Chemist Warehouse. Carly?
That's great. Oh, that's good.
It's a fabulous idea, Carly. You'll love it.
Oh, thank you. But don't you two argue because it's okay?
No,
you behave yourself.
No, but on behalf of Doncaster Shopping, then there's half of Melbourne saying, "Oh, I've got to go back there. Oh, yes, I got another 3 hours."
No, I'm on your side, Carly. They're going to have to fix that.
Carly, don't hang up for heaven's sake. Hold the line.
That's a glitch.
Mark at Watsonia, good evening.
Yeah, hi, fellows. How are you tonight?
Yeah, hi, Mark.
Oh, yeah, good. I like it when you two fight, actually, so, bring it on.
Okay.
Smash him in the face.
All right, it's like...
Give him a good punch in the head occasionally.
It's like cage fighting, yeah.
Now, okay, good. 3 quick points. Now, firstly, on this $40 surcharge for proof of ID for property transactions, if this is going to curtail the Chinese buying up all our land, and I think $40 is a small fee to cover that and stem the influx of the buyers. Second point, as far as this sad tragedy in France, we need to close our borders. And thirdly and finally, the Peter in Bundoora, who's talking about these entertainers, what a boring, mundane subject.
Oh, I think that's very unfair.
Seriously, guys, come on. I'd rather cut my leg off with a rusty knife.
Yeah, I can understand, but you see, you don't know what he's talking about. But I suppose if you're of that vintage, it would bring back a lot of memories for him and others.
And triggered a response from Bruce and Phil.
Certainly doesn't need a rusty knife, do you know?
No, you're very cruel, Mark.
Well, satire, a bit of fun.
Yeah, but...
Okay, Mark, thank you very much. Karen at Sunshine.
I heard on the news today that a 31-year-old man from Braybrook was taken into custody and that he had a weapon. I found out that he was planning to take it to an anti-Muslim rally. Apparently they're planning to build a mosque or something. But Braybrook will know the Sunshine, and it's a real worry sometimes being so close. You just don't know, There's been also troubles in North Sunshine as well with people having weapons and things. I was just thinking that you have to really admire the federal authorities to find these people and have prevented many possible tragedies. I know they can't prevent all of them, but it's such a responsible job. And even in Paris in the last few days, they found these 8 men who were terrorists through federal intelligence, and I really admire them. I think that, the job they've got is just so important, and plus it's very challenging as well. Yeah, so I think they do a really great job.
Yeah, it's all done with phone taps mainly and identifying where people are phoning from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just thinking along those lines, and I was thinking, they do, a really responsible job, and they do a good job,
Do you have a mobile phone, Karen?
Yes.
Well, the police, if they wanted to, at any given moment, would know exactly where you are, and it could track your calls.
Amazing. All right.
Good night.
Thank you, Karen. Good night. Dawn at Sorrento.
Good evening, my dear friend.
Gee,
long time no speak.
Hang on a minute. We get back into the mists of time to the opening.
Yep, remember?
To the opening of that casino.
Yep.
Part of the Rialto.
Yep. And we were at the Fire Brigade's 100th anniversary ball.
Yes.
And I came in and saw you with a tiara on my head.
Right.
Dressed up.
And
that's about 25 years ago, Dawny.
Oh, yes, must be, mate.
And Barry was wearing his dinner suit.
What's doing, Dawn?
And listen, he nearly fits into that dinner suit even now.
Yeah.
No, I was just ringing to tell you that I've become a VIP of 3AW.
How come?
Oh, the Neil...
Dennis Walter.
Oh.
He's used me as a promo tonight.
Oh, that's right, Dawn. I heard your voice.
And I just thought I'd say hello, and it makes me feel, very important.
Well, so it should.
Yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled to bits.
Isn't that lovely?
Yep. Love it.
You deserve that, Dawny.
Oh, thank you. You're the best to listen to.
I tell you what, you've been very loyal to the station over many years.
But so have you been giving us all the pleasure that we get from, your shows and the way you speak and comforting people and what have you. It's in the world today, this is what we need, you and Phil.
Oh, thank you, Dawn.
Beautiful, Dawn.
Yep, that's the way it should be.
Love to the family, love to Barry. Have a lovely weekend.
Yeah,
Dawn.
he's listening.
Okay, Dawny, thank you.
It's not too late to ring in. We're talking earlier about the Paris situation. Would it mean you'd postpone a trip to Paris or maybe cancel it, or would you go ahead with your travel
Mary
plans?
Altana Meadows. Hello, Mary.
Yes, hello. Hi, how are you, Bruce and Phil?
Hello, Mary. G'day.
I haven't spoken to you for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just talking about Paris, actually. Yeah, it's a sad thing that's happening at this time, It's sort of hit everybody, by what's happening there.
Of course.
I don't think it's a good idea at the moment to go really there, as it would, other places, a lot of places at this stage, But I think, as time goes on, things get quiet. I think it's a good idea, very good idea, for people to actually, go there, tour. They're going to need all this, as do, other places that these things happen, That's to sort of, bring back what they've lost,
Yeah, but you wouldn't go tomorrow, would you?
Yeah.
Yeah, very thoughtful answer, Mary. Thank you for that.
Yeah, it's just very, it's like when the London bombings happened, like years ago.
That's true.
And Mary, the last place you'd go is Bali, because every second day there's an ash cloud to stop flights departing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
you're right. You're right. With all that's going on there in the air,
There's no danger. The New York incident of when was that?
2001.
That would have stopped a lot of people travelling.
From travelling,
That's
For a
past.
little while, I suppose,
And a little while has gone by, 10 years, or how many years? 12 years?
Yeah, well, nearly 15.
15 years. So that's gone, and it's a relative safety in New York.
Exactly, that's right. And people are flying anywhere, really, back to their birth home.
It's true, isn't it, Mary? Time heals all wounds, Mary.
Yeah, so what do? Let it all pass, It's just a little sad what they're going through at this stage,
Certainly, yeah.
That's why I was sort of praying for them,
Of course.
Because, a lot of citizens, getting killed for no reason at all, families and all,
I know.
It's one of those
I know.
things, But I think it's a good thing, for later on, They should actually, tour and do their holidays and do go back to Paris,
Yeah, that's right. Give it a little bit of time, All right, Mary, thanks. Now, listen, up for grabs is a Hamper World Christmas hamper. Would that be handy or not at your place? $100 worth of wines and cheeses and dips and dops. Order your Christmas gift hamper at hamperworld.com.au.
That'll be delivered before Christmas.
So give us a call on anything you'd like to talk about. Paris. We've spoken about the livable city of Melbourne.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Beach Boys. Who would you love to see in concert and stay there for hours just absorbing all those hits?
And something topical I brought up earlier, because of all these parking meters in the suburbs, would it deter you from strip shopping and make you want to go to a large shopping complex for free instead?
96900 693 96900 693. Give us a ring now. Hey,
have you had a bad experience parking at the airport or a hospital, for example, where they have a total monopoly over what they can charge? It's iniquitous. If I go to the airport, I'll normally take a cab. Works out cheaper than staying there 2 or 3 days.
There was a time when you used to hide in bushes. Now, I think it's totally illegal now, so I'm not suggesting this.
Yes.
But you just get about a kilometre from the airport. This is the bad old days, I think. And you hide in those bushes on the Tullamarine Airport. And when the plane arrives, they give you a call on the brand new mobile phone.
Yes.
I'm here. Good, I'll come and get you.
Yes, that's true.
You remember that?
Yes, you'd hide in Mickleham Road or somewhere.
Yeah, but you can't now because they put up barricades, which I think is right because of obstruction and getting back into that busy traffic.
Couldn't you go and stay at McDonald's for half an hour or something?
Oh, go and stay at the centre point, book in for the night. Jane at Baldwin. Good evening, Jane.
What's up, Stevie?
Go ahead, please, Jane. We're running out of time.
Yes, I just wanted to say, did you see the air balloons this morning? And that was such a beautiful sight. I was putting out my garbage bins, and
Yeah, where were
About
they?
5 of them. Well, across Baldwin, I suppose, Kew, they were Nova. I think they were just beautiful.
Oh,
how many?
Glorious.
There was 5. I tell you, it was the most stupendous thing to see that early in the morning. It was about 5.
Yeah, what a beautiful still morning to be flying.
It was.
Gee, those people who are going up in the hot air balloon, they must get up about 3 in the morning, Jane.
Well, I wouldn't be game. I don't know much about it, but you could actually hear the motor or whatever. You could hear something. That's yeah, it was interesting. I just couldn't believe it. It was so beautiful.
That'll be what you'd be hearing of the gas burners.
Beautiful, Jane. Lovely. Thank you very much. Jeff, good evening.
Oh, g'day there, Bruce and Phil. Well, what that lady was saying about the hot air ballooning, we've actually done that, and it's magnificent because you think when you're up there it's going to be windy, but of course there's no breeze at all because you are the breeze, if you know what I mean. You're travelling with the wind.
Yes.
And, yeah, magnificent. But look, on people you'd go to see over and over, and my dear wife especially, it'd be John Farnham, guys. He's just been wonderful. And, yeah, follow him all through his career. And you know, the other thing I think of, I remember some years ago, we went with a group to the Rochford wineries and we saw Rod Stewart.
Oh, that'd be great.
And, well, there were people there that were real Rod Stewart fans, and they thought he was magnificent. And I sort of thought that the voice was a bit off a bit. But I think what happens when you've grown up with a particular artist, when they sing, you hear them in your mind the way they always used to be.
That's
so
right. And they change naturally as they get older. Jeff, we've got to fly. Mary at Mitcham, good evening.
Boys, how are you?
Mary, you've won the hamper from the Hamper World.
I haven't said anything.
I know, because we've got to go. A Christmas hamper valued at $100. Order your Christmas hamper from hamperworld.com.au. Tell us about it, Phil.
Yeah, we can give you a minute. Mary, go ahead, please.
Okay, I was going to say that we've actually wanted to go to Paris in June next year.
Oh, yes. Well, still go.
Oh, I don't know. I'm really scared now.
Yeah, well, then the terrorists win if you run scared.
Just give it a bit of time.
I want to go. It's my dream, but I am afraid of it, and I don't know. I just don't know what to do. So it's like a lifelong holiday.
Well, just watch the news. Just see how things develop. If things don't get any better, I would question whether you should go on.
Maybe go to Rome instead.
But I would give it time.
I think so. I think you're right, Bruce.
Time heals.
Yeah.
It does. Thank you, boys.
Okay, darling. Now hold the line for the Christmas hamper from Hamper World.
And find out more about it from hamperworld.com.au.
So don't hang up. Hold on, Mary, please. A lovely prize.
A memo from your child. Don't spoil me. I know quite well that I ought not to have all I ask for. I'm only testing you. Don't be afraid to be firm with me. I prefer it. It makes me feel more secure. Don't let me form bad habits. I have to rely on you to detect them in the early stages. Don't make me feel smaller than I am. It only makes me behave stupidly big. Don't correct me in front of others, if you can help it. I'll take much more notice if you talk quietly with me in private. Don't make me feel that my mistakes are sins. It upsets my sense of values. Don't protect me from consequences. I need to learn the painful way sometimes. Don't be too upset when I say I hate you. It isn't you I hate, but your power to thwart me. Don't take too much notice of my small ailments. Sometimes they get me the attention I need. Don't nag. If you do, I shall have to protect myself by appearing deaf. Don't make rash promises. Rather that I feel badly let down when promises are broken. Don't forget that I cannot explain myself as well as I should, and that's why I'm not always very accurate. Don't tax my honesty too much. I'm easily frightened into telling lies. Don't be inconsistent. That completely confuses me, makes me lose faith in you. Don't put me off when I ask questions. If you do, you'll find that I'll stop asking and seek my information elsewhere. And don't tell me my fears are silly. They're terribly real, and you can do so much to reassure me if you try to understand. Don't ever suggest that you're perfect or infallible. It gives me too much of a shock when I discover that you're neither. And don't ever think that it is beneath your dignity to apologize to me. An honest apology makes me feel surprisingly warm toward you. And don't forget how quickly I'm growing up. It must be very difficult for you to keep pace with me, but please try. And don't forget, I love experimenting. I couldn't get on without it, so please put up with it. And don't forget, I can't thrive without lots of understanding and love. But I don't need to tell you, do I?
Copyright restricts distribution of this piece by any means of duplication.
Well, they're only short shows, but they are jam-packed with every goodie and every chocolate and every roast that you could get jammed into this box.
You're right, I try to give more in half the time.
Well, it's not working. Everyone's giving more.
Well, I'll try and give more tomorrow night.
Okay, we'll look forward to that. Tomorrow at 10.
It's like pulling teeth.
What?
Oh, well, you expect too much.
Well, don't give so much.
No, well, it's exhausting.
Thank you so much. Thank you to the audience who gave a lot more than you did.
Well, that's the way it is.
Thank you, Dawny, down there in Sorrento.
I'm in cruise control,
I
okay?
know, you're in total cruise control, going backwards. Thank you, Sheena Easton, for your help in the control room tonight.
Yes.
Last minutes are ticking by, and Luke Boner will be with you as he sees the dawn break over Australia.
And Bruce is right. We're back for the Friday night line at 10.
Australia overnight. So look forward to Luke. Good night, Samuel, Carter and Amelia, and Sophia, Grace, little William Oliver, Sophia, Charlotte and Emily, and Amelia.
Yes.
Good night to you all.
I know. Now, Oro, you're listening to the program. If you've been eating my books and CDs again, when I get home, you will be punished.
Do you want to give him perhaps some good airs?
Well, he's got a Kong to play with. Why does he have to...
Well, he can't be chewing into a Kong. What's he getting out of that?
What's he destroying my property for?
He's waiting for your leg.
Good night, Barbara Walters.
That's the way she went today.